Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Moose Minute Project on a beautiful Wednesday morning here in southern Wisconsin. It is a beautiful morning for sure. Sun's coming up. It was pretty cool going across the rivers today with the misty fog lifting off of it and the sun shining through. Great morning. So, titled today, When the Storms Hit Close to Home. And you can take this for weather, take this for things that just go wrong, things that happen that you have no control over, no matter what anybody says. There's a lot of storms that happen in our lives throughout our whole life. We lose grandparents, parents, siblings, pets, to me they're all storms, health issues. And then there's the weather ones that we cannot control, I wish we could. I wish we had a big fan that would blow them away. Looks like Milton's going to bear down on Florida in the next 2 days, 3 days. I don't know what to expect out of that. I just pray that everybody in Florida, including my brother and them, are all safe as, he's in the St. Petersburg area, so it's right there at home. Have friends that got places down there, have, like I said, relatives there. When you cannot control those, it is not a good scenario. It's not going to be good for a lot of people. And how do you prepare for something that you have no idea how catastrophic it's going to be? You just know it's going to be bad. So how do you prepare for that? It's always been one of my thoughts, is I just don't know how I look at now that I have good friends that I graduated with that are down in the Carolinas and that area. They're linemen for the utility company in Aiken where I grew up, and they sent a crew down. And then I have a cousin that's now down left from Muscadet that is headed that way too, to help get power restored. But then what happens when Milton hits? Are we sending those crews then to Florida as well? And what happens if these just keep happening and happening? We can't always have our lineman crews on tour per se and not back at home. Thank God weather is great here, and I think the weather's really good in Minnesota. So with a small crew, they'll be okay. But it's a concern as we see more and more natural disasters happening. And you can say what you want about, and I don't know about climate change as much as Bible change. We've been joking about it for years as we've watched our government do what it's doing. But I think we're beyond, and I'm not doing this to scare anybody, I'm not a Bible thumper by any means, if you want to think of it that way. But I do have common sense in my head, and I think there is more to worry about than what we've got going on, because there are people that are following individuals that are far from Jesus followers. They are trying to run this country, and they are far from following the word of Jesus Christ, or just being, in general, caring of the citizens in this country. You look at all the misinformation. For crying out loud, how many times has anybody on Facebook seen the picture of Trump walking up a river, helping somebody, and they believe it, okay? They believe that that's a picture of him. It's AI. How are we going to decipher this as we go further? And how are you going to tell yourself that that's just garbage, I don't need to spread it any further? I think we really have to get back to taking care of our neighbors, getting back to taking care of the people around us, and care for those people. and be open-minded and open-hearted to do that. It's getting exhausting listening to people believe the mouths of either side, but it has been definitely proven that the right side lies way more than the left. As you said, as you can hear, I'm not saying that neither one does. I'm saying they both do. But it happens to be proven that the right side is lying way more than the left. If you're voting the right side, I'm okay with it. But don't tell me it's because the left side is so bad and yours is so great. At least be honest on why you're voting for it. Say, hey, he's a lying, he lies way more than I do, but it's the only choice I have. I'm fine with that. It's kind of like why the left side. Yep. I hear the word we way more than I on that side. So that's why I'm leaning that way. So just be honest with yourself and those around you on why you are voting the way you are. And don't try to bash the other side to make your side, because you'd have to do a hell of a lot of bashing to make either side look good. Just admit it. You're voting for what you feel is the less of two evils. And until we change that, and until we change our mindset to start caring about people in general, things are going to continue to spiral out of control. And I was very strict with my kids when I raised them. I was very hard on my kids when I raised them. Probably too hard at some point. But I am very proud of how they've all grown up. I'm proud of who they are. I'm proud of how they present themselves. And they do every job they do to 100%, and they do it by the book, no matter what is spread. And that is a hard part too. When you have a child that is in the public eye and called the terms pig, called the term corrupt, slimy, sneaky, I will guarantee you they are not that way. But that's how they have to be portrayed because of your behaviors. So be prepared that no matter when you go through life, you are going to be called names. You are going to go through things. And I don't care if you own a store, if you deal with however you have to deal with the public. If you own a business, if you're part of the government, you have to deal with the public, and you're going to have to deal with public input, which a lot of times is untruthful, spewing lies, and causing storms. So how are you going to do that when that storm hits close to home? How are you going to handle that? Who is your go-to to handle that? Because spewing back to them is not going to help. It is not going to cure that. So all I can tell you is be honest, be upfront. Don't be fake. Just tell it how it is. I do not have a gray area a lot of people can float in. I am very much black and white. I am very much to the point. I a lot of times don't know when to shut my mouth because it's just not who I am. My mom raised me that way, and I am just blunt. And that sometimes can cause issues too. But I would much rather be that way than telling everybody, I go back to the other day when I got told, well, I can see you have effing brain damage. That makes sense now why you vote the way you do. I have effing brain damage because there was a medical thing that I couldn't control, which caused a storm. And how I responded to it was battle through it, become the best I can be. And, then I got hit with a few more storms. You just keep battling through it. So if you are going through a storm right now, prepare yourself for a little bit of a long road, but get through it. If you have to rebuild a path, do that. However, if your path that you are on gets destroyed, it may be a point of where you have to turn around and build a new one to go a different direction, or go back to the start and see if there's a different way. So that's all I can hope for you, is that, and if anybody ever needs, find a good friend. One that you can trust, that will not talk to anybody else about it, but that your best friend, your good friend, I'm fortunate to have my wife at home that listens to a lot of my struggles. This last few weeks have been pretty brutal on me. A lot of ups and downs with my mom. Just a lot of dreams with her involved. So it's been a rough week. But find that friend and find that person that you can trust, whether it's a parent or whatever it may, a good friend in school. And if you have to, get help through a counselor or whatever it may be, because we are headed down some uncharted water with a lot of this stuff. And it's going to be that tough time. So thank you again. And if that storm is hitting close at home, ask for help. Don't try to make it on your own. If you can't, keep battling, get up every day, brush yourself off, keep moving forward. But if you start feeling where you're tired and you don't want to keep going, that is when you need to find your help. And please find it before you totally run out of gas. Okay? So thank you all for tuning in this morning. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another Moose Minute Project Edition. Having a tough time with my words this morning, but it's okay. And as always, take time to bless somebody else and make their day better, which will in turn make your day better when you feel that you've done something like that. It definitely helps. So have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll be back tomorrow morning with the Moose Minute Project, and we'll talk then.